love that. This could be my new favourite club. So are you a type of golfer who doesn't like to see the hybrids go left, but really feel like they want the more forgiveness of a hybrid, that higher ball flight, but really struggling to control the shot direction? Then you do want to stay tuned and make sure you watch this video and this particular club I'm going to test. Okay, so like I said, many of the better players in the world don't entertain hybrids because they tend to see more of that left miss. And that's purely really because the lie angle tends to be more upright. So the typical golfer that would go into a hybrid would maybe be more your sort of mid, maybe high handicap golfer, somebody who's looking for a little bit more forgiveness, bit of ease of flight in those longer area of the golf bag, so switching out their irons and potentially putting hybrids in. But the vast majority of those golfers tend to maybe see a left to right, maybe a slice ball flight. So manufacturers tend to make these hybrids a little bit more upright to try and reduce that shape, but obviously not everybody hits that particular shape. So if you don't hit that shape, that's when that left miss can really sort of open up. Now, Callaway have brought out a utility wood, is what they're calling it. It's the Apex. Slightly larger header. This is something that Phil Mickelson has actually put in the bag. So Callaway is saying this is aimed at more of the better player potentially because it's a little bit more neutral, potentially not seeing that left miss, but you're still getting that sort of a little bit more loft, but with some big ball speed. So distance, high ball flight, soft landing, and anti-left. It sounds perfect, doesn't it? We'll see. Okay, so let's get underway. So I've got the 19-degree version here. There's some of the lofts there. I'll pop them up on the screen. I've got Hazardous Smoke RDX shaft in this. It's non-adjustable in the hosel, so I can't change face angle. But having said that, this is a gorgeous looking golf club. I put that down by the ball. It sits beautifully square, and it's just a very clean head. Gloss black, that's it. No alignment aid, nothing else happening, no sort of paint, lipstick in, anything else on the head, sort of white grooves on there. It sits really, really nice. And what I really like here is it looks a little bit, it's probably in between like a hybrid and a fairway wood in terms of the size of the head, but the shaft length is also between a fairway wood and a hybrid. So touch longer than a hybrid, touch shorter than a fairway wood to get that little bit of control. It does feel like it's easy. It's going to be an easy one to hit. Confident inspiring is probably a better way to put that. Ooh, right, that wasn't the greatest of first hits, but that's flown away. Won't be the longest, I don't think, there, to be honest, but it'd be interesting to sort of see. Yeah, 230 carry, didn't get all of that. A little bit sort of a low heely sort of connection, but we've got to get that little bit of forgiveness here, aren't we? You know, we've got all the sort of technology that we tend to sort of see in the other woods from Callaway. We've got jailbreak, that AI jailbreak technology. We know that strength in the crown and the sole to try and put the energy back through that golf ball. We've got that 7-gram weighted screw that's positioned quite forward, so that's typically going to create a little bit more sort of ball speed off the club face. As I say, mega impressed with the way that sits. It sits lovely and square. Oh, that's a better strike. And that's a really high buff. That looks to be out there for a long time. That'll be an interesting one. Felt like I hit that really well. Wow, yeah, so 253 carry, 270 total there. Land angle 42 degrees as it comes into land, 13 launch, 3-3 spin. That's fantastic. That is really good. As I say, it fills me with a load of confidence down by that golf ball. I feel like I've got that head of a fairway wood, but that length of a hybrid. So the length of this in the 19-degree head is 41.5 inches as standard. When I look at the Apex standard hybrid head, that comes in at 40.5. So it's an inch longer than the hybrid, but obviously going to be shorter than that fairway wood that you would typically see. So there's that, maybe that element of control in there. And the lie angle is also 1 degree flatter in comparison to the Apex. So there's that, maybe that anti sort of left sort of built into it, which again, typically, as I mentioned before, that better player doesn't want to see that ball miss left, and I definitely don't. And I'm pleased the way the club sits, because sometimes hybrids for me just sit a little bit closed and a little bit more upright, and that's one of the reasons why they tend to miss left. Ooh, right. That's a little bit toey, a little bit drawy, but I started it out far enough to the right. Again, that wasn't flushed perfect, but I'll tell you what, I love that. I mean, if you're wanting that, I'm just thinking if you're hitting into a really long par 5 here where you're sort of wanting some bit of land angle that you're typically going to see from a hybrid, and it's a long way out, like 250 carry, that's going to be into like sort of neck end of 3-wood territory for me in a way, just short of. But when I get that confidence of that shaft length there, I can just feel like I can really let it go. And that land angle there, you know, the height on there is superb, 110 feet. It's going to land fairly soft, that. Oh yes, this could be my new favourite club. It just feels so easy to hit. Superb numbers, really good. So also internally in this head is 17 grams of tungsten, which Callaway have positioned where they are saying this would be higher launching, steeper descent angles, which we're just sort of talking about there, and consistent spin numbers and that front to back dispersion. Definitely starting to see that. That co number, the last few shots there has been pretty consistent when I get my strike in the right area. Oh, wow, I love that. And do you know what, the other thing that really impresses me there is the sound of it. That sounds so solid. It's quite muted, it's not tinny, it's not loud, it's not sort of brashing away off that. And that was a little bit low in the face, and that hasn't really dropped off any sort of yardage, and on 2 or 3 yards there, if that. Really good flight, really high, towering. Tell you what, that's a joy to hit. That gets getting me thinking there now. That I like that confidence of that shorter shaft. It feels like really quite forgiving and give me some really sort of good numbers in there. So these are available in 3 loft options. You've got a 19, a 20 and a 21. Now the 19 is the only one that's available in right and left-handed. The other 2 are right hand only. Let's go and check a few numbers out. Okay, so let's look at that dispersion ring to start things off. So pretty good there. Maybe one just venturing a little bit on that left-hand side, but nothing that's massively worrying, and it's just the odd one. Clearly that was that first one I hit, which I didn't hit great, to be honest. That was a bit of a low heel. So the other ones, which I hit pretty good, were again very consistent from that front to back, maybe backing up a little bit what Callaway are claiming there. Then we look into those numbers. You see 103.6, club head, ball speed 151, launch 13, spin 3.5, 247 on average. Again, that first one, I'm just going to take that out because that was a bit of a real sort of bad strike. The other ones were pretty good, just moving a little bit around the club head, a couple a little bit low, but you know, all pretty decent ones. 252, but look at the front to back there. You can see that 249.1 to 253.5. That's really, really impressive for a club that in that category, you know, in that longer club area. Ball flight really nice and high, some good land angles there. Again, loads of confidence. You've got some stopping power coming to that, hitting into that maybe like long par 5, possibly even that long par 4 in a way, second shot potentially, depending on what the wind's doing. And I like the fact that you didn't really get a lot of that right to left shape on it. Okay, so real interesting one. That's just getting me thinking now of potentially something that could go in the bag. Post comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Apex UW. Hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.